Hey YouTube. So I am just gonna make this video and I'm gonna put it together and upload it. So I was gonna go in and kind of like start from the beginning of our case. I'm just gonna give like a brief little rundown on what happened. If you go back and watch my like first 2 or 3 videos, it'll kind of tell you what happened. I think I know that I go really into depth in one of the videos about everything that happened with my daughter and the pedophile who kidnapped her and all that stuff. So excuse me, I want to give an update. It's been like 3 years now. Excuse me, I'm sorry, took a drink of Sprite, that's what I get. I'm so sorry. So it's been like 3 years now. I got the hiccups. It's been 3 years now. And I think it's been 3 years. Maybe it's been more than that. It's been 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. 3 or 4 years. Anyway, maybe 3 years. I'm digressing. It doesn't matter. But it's been a few years since, if you go back and watch my other videos, I had, gotten on YouTube and I was very helpless in a very helpless situation because the pedophile predator monster who had kidnapped my daughter and, got her pregnant, and we had fought all, for years to try to keep him from messing with my grandson, from having any visitation with him. We begged and pleaded with the judge to realize that this man was a predator and that, my grandson was conceived during the commission of a crime, and just the fact that, because he got my daughter, because my daughter, got away from him, he then filed emergency habeas corpus after emergency habeas corpus, and the judge in the town that we live in and the judge in New Jersey allowed him to have, even though we won our 1.5 years or a little over, it was 1 year long custody trial. We won that. My daughter, we won that so that her and my grandson could come home. The judges still said, oh, well, he's a parent. He's a dad who loves his child, and, he deserves to, see his child and be a parent to his child. The whole time we knew this guy is a predator. He's a pedophile. He's an SAer. He's an Unaliver. He's all of those things that are the worst things in the world. And we knew that. My daughter, myself, my mom, we knew that. And so we were trying to protect my grandson. And not just my grandson, but every other young girl and any other child who would come across, who would unfortunately stumble across this psycho's path. That was our goal. And so we won the custody trial, but my grandson, it's been about, I think it's been 4 years now, 3 or 4 years since the predator was able to take my grandson. And he took him for 8 weeks. The last time he took him, he had him with him in New York for 8 weeks. He tried to not give him back. And thank God, we got him back safely. So after that, every time we had him back, and this creep, he wouldn't like do normal parenting time. He would come to see him, or I'm sorry, he would never come to see him. He would contact my daughter like once or twice a year. Oh, by the way, I'm going to come get him. I'm saying my grandson, him. I'm going to come get my grandson for, I'm going to come and get him for the summer. After my grandson not having seen this creep for a year at that point. So 2 times he took him to New Jersey or to New York for 8 weeks at a time, 2 summers in a row. And my grandson did not remember him. From going from 3 to 4, he doesn't see you for a whole year. He doesn't know you. Okay, so that was super traumatic. Well, finally, he had come here, the predator had come here to our town, filed another habeas corpus, and the judge in our town finally caught on to what was going on and was like, no, I'm not doing this with you again. So they let him have him one more time, but they said, well, that's it. We're not going to let you do another habeas corpus. You're not following on your parenting plan, blah, blah, blah. Well, meanwhile, excuse me, my daughter and myself, and my mom, like, we talked about it. My daughter had been kind of looking on Instagram, and she had found an old account that this creep had, and she located, so she went into the account, just got on there and clicked on there to see who he was following, and he was following thousands and thousands of young girls that were under the age of 16. My daughter messaged, I think she said she messaged about 50 of them, all in our area. We live in the Pacific Northwest. All in our area. My daughter contacted these girls, like sent messages, hey, please don't talk to this guy. If he's trying to talk to you, please know he is a predator. Please don't go around him. Like, just trust me, he's a very, very bad man. Several of them got back with my daughter and frighteningly told her that he had been in contact with them that day, and he was trying to lure these young girls to him. It was terrifying. And so anyway, as time's going on, I went to nursing school. I ended up working in our county jail here in my town, and I got a hold of the sex crimes sergeant, sergeant of the sex crimes unit here in our town. And basically he told me, yeah, there's really not much I can do for you, sorry about that, statute of limitations. And I'm like, he essayed my daughter and created a child. She was underage, so it's statutory R. You're not going to do anything. Yeah, well, he goes, yeah, well, these guys are really difficult to catch. It's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, great. I said, meanwhile, this monster is I guarantee you, SAing young girls all over the country. Yeah, there's really just not much we can do. That's basically what he told me. So then I went to work. I, started as a travel nurse and ended up going to work over on the west side of the state. Ended up working at another county jail, and the chief at that department was a super nice guy, and he listened to my story. I talked with him and I explained to him the whole thing, and he kind of gave me some avenues to look into, and he basically heard me and he understood, and that was so huge. That was so, so huge, to be heard and to be validated. Like, you know what? You're doing the best you can, and what you're doing is the right thing. And yeah, it's really hard to get these guys caught, but don't worry, he's going to slip up and it's going to happen. Well, so basically it was November. Okay, so let me backtrack. So August of 2020, the predator filed for custody again. He was constantly filing for custody. He went through 7 appellate judges who were like, we're not going to turn over this ruling. It's not going to happen. So he would constantly file for custody of my grandson. And so anyway, he had filed for custody in August. That was in 2020. And so everything was just going crazy with coronavirus and all that. And it was just, courts were not happening. And so the judge continued the case until September. Well, they had their little hearing, and the judge was like, I'm going to do a continuance, because basically the predator creep guy, he wasn't ready. His name is Jose. I'm just going to give his name because there's so many Jose's in the world. His name is Jose. Jose was not ready for court, and so he had asked for a continuance or whatever. No, I'm sorry, he didn't ask for continuance, but the judge got frustrated with him and was like, you know what, I'm just going to continue this because, so continue it to November 5th. Okay. So, and the judge was like, if you're not ready, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss it because, you've been through so many appellate judges and appellate, this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, November 5th comes. Well, a few days before November 5th comes, and we never hear anything. And then our attorney calls my daughter, and he's like, and I just want to say, when I'm saying our, it's really my daughter, but I'm speaking for her because I'm telling the story because, I was the mother of a minor child when all this craziness was happening. And so anyways, I'm telling it so she doesn't have to, and because it's affected our entire family. Anyways, so we hear from my daughter's attorney, and he's like, do you guys know where Jose is? Because he's gone. His attorney can't find him. And his attorney contacted our attorney and was like, so November 5th comes and goes. Judge dismisses it. And December comes and goes. And January comes and goes. And we've never heard a thing. He never refiled. And I'm telling you, this creep went from constantly harassing every couple months. He would file another, custody. He wanted custody. It's like, you're not going to get custody, buddy. You're not going to. Well, anyway, it's like radio silence, crickets, nothing. So my grandson has a sister, and she is about, she's, a teenager, and she's still a minor, but she's a teenager. And her mother and stepfather are amazing people. Her mother was another victim, obviously, and she was, I would say, probably one of his first victims. And he got her pregnant at 15. She had her baby, I believe, at 15, or she got her pregnant at 15. Anyway, long story short, so my daughter and myself we've grown a relationship with my grandson's sister's parents, mom and stepdad. And my grandson gets to talk with his sister and FaceTime with her, not as often as we'd like, but they definitely know each other, and they get to, talk once in a while. Well, anyway, the stepdad of my grandson's sister, he's an amazing guy, super funny. I actually talked to him more than I talked to the mother, but and that's probably just because of, however it is, maybe he's home more often. I don't know. But anyway, I love them both. They're amazing people, and we've kind of been on this journey together, because not only have we have my grandson in common as far as with this monster, but they have a child in common with the monster as well. And he has harassed and terrorized both of us, both families. Okay. And because my daughter was a minor, I've been there for her, and I have always promised her, I will never leave you. I will always be here with you to help you. And I will never leave my grandson from the moment he was born. And I will, when I figure out how to put some photos in, I'm going to put some really special photos in of when my grandson was first born, and he grabbed my finger, and it was just such a bonding moment. But anyway, my grandson's sister's stepdad, he calls us, and he's like, you're not going to believe what I found, because they were supposed to go to court with this idiot as well. Okay, because when he never stopped harassing us, he never stopped harassing them. Okay, so he gives us a call, and he's like, you're not going to believe what I found. And we're like, what? And he's like, he's in jail. And we're like, oh no. But we're like, okay, great. So my daughter and I talked about it, and I did a little more digging, and we all kind of did a little more digging, and finally, we figured out he was in Michigan. He was in jail in Michigan. Well, Michigan's a long way from New York, okay? It's like 13 hours or something like that. And I knew he was still SAing young girls. My daughter and I both knew that he was soliciting young girls on Instagram, and we also knew that he had a pending case out of New Jersey for terroristic threats and just horrible stuff that he was doing to these girls and women, anybody he can bother. So anyway, I'm running out of time here. So anyway, he's in jail. We find out he's in jail in Michigan. I ended up, after a few weeks, I finally figured out who to talk to. I called and spoke with the sheriff, the lead detective. Wonderful sheriff's department out there. And he knew who I was. I told him who I am, and I said, our case is out of Washington, and he knew who I was, and he was like, wow, it's you, and he's like, it's so good to talk to you. He's like, I've read your story, and it's just good to talk to the person I've read about. And I'm like, really my daughter, but me, because I've been a very vocal protective parent of my daughter, and I've fought so long and hard to get our voices heard and to protect my daughter and my grandson. And so he knew that, I was the mom who called and anyway, and number one, he knew my daughter's name. He knew my daughter's name, and he knew what my daughter had been through. And it just to hear somebody say, I know what happened to you, I read about it, and I'm so sorry, and we're doing everything we can to get this guy off the streets, but we've got him off the streets. And so he told me the whole story. He told me what he could tell me legally, right? But he told me, obviously they knew that we were victims from our case, which our case is quite well documented. But basically we've been, shoved under the rug and ignored. And, basically the attitude is, well, there's just not much we can do. I mean, she's not a minor anymore. It's like, I don't care. Anyway, I'm digressing. So, he was SAing 12 and 13 and 14-year-old girls in Michigan. And the feds got him. And he was just sentenced to 27 and a half years in a federal prison. Praise the Lord. My grandson will be in his 30s if he ever gets out. And the other thing I want to say is that he's facing time in several other prisons in several other states because he's been committing these acts all over the country. And he's even facing jail time here in my town because the night before he flew to Michigan, he was in our town SAing another young girl. So, that's today's update. I have so much more to share, but I'm running out of room on my phone. I really need to use my new camera, but I'm just a little bit nervous about it because I don't know how to use it yet. So I'm going to get this uploaded today. I'll delete it off my phone so I can record and we can start back on update part 2. Update 3 years later, part 2. I hope everyone has a great day. God bless you, and just stay safe, everyone. And be situationally aware to what's going on. Always keep your eyes open and just be safe and love one another and have a wonderful day. God bless.